All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a massive shift for anyone doing business in the UAE, the new world of anti-money laundering, or AML compliance. You need to know that by 2026, the old ways of doing things won't just be out of date, they're going to be a major business risk. So, let's break down exactly what's changing.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? This is the core of the new mindset. We're moving way beyond AML as just some legal chore you have to tick off a list. Now, it's a fundamental part of your business strategy, and it has a direct line to your reputation, your ability to get banking services, and honestly, your power to operate smoothly.
So you might be asking, why all the pressure all of a sudden? Well, let's get into the forces that are totally changing the rules of the game. For any professional in this space, you have to understand that the old approach, it's just not going to fly anymore.
And this right here, this is the main takeaway. The days of just having a policy on a shelf to show an auditor are completely gone. Regulators have zero tolerance for that tick box mentality now. They don't just want to see if you have a policy. They're digging deep to see if it actually works in the real world. Is it really stopping financial crime? That's the question they're asking.
Okay, so there are really three big things putting the squeeze on businesses. First, you've got the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, pushing the UAE to meet these tough global standards. That means more prosecutions, more seizing of assets. Second, there are new federal laws that have seriously raised the bar on what's expected from your controls and your tech. And third, the local supervisors, they've been given more power, and believe me, they have a lot less patience for weak compliance.
And all this new pressure leads us straight into what we're calling the disruption danger zone. Because when the rules get tougher, the price for not keeping up gets a whole lot steeper. And we're not just talking about fines anymore. We're talking about things that can genuinely grind your business to a halt. So what's tripping everybody up? This chart breaks down the biggest internal headaches. The number one issue by far is relying on old-school manual processes. They're slow, they're full of human error, and they just suck up resources. Then you add in data that's stuck in different silos, so you can't get a clear picture of your customer risk. And on top of that, you're trying to keep up with rules that change constantly, which creates friction for your customers. It's really the perfect storm for a compliance breakdown.
And the price of that breakdown? It's huge. Yeah, there are massive fines for sure, but think about the damage to your brand. That can take years to fix. Regulators can actually put restrictions on your operations, and in the most serious cases, we're talking about the risk of imprisonment. But here's the point that should get everyone's attention. Senior management is now personally on the hook. This is not a risk you can just delegate away anymore.
Okay, enough of the scary stuff. The good news is there's a clear way to navigate all this. And this isn't about just dodging penalties, it's actually about building a smarter, stronger business. So let's get into the playbook for how to win at this.
The whole foundation of the modern approach is this: the risk-based approach. Look, instead of hitting every single client with the same heavy-duty checks, you figure out the actual risk they bring. This lets you speed up the process for your low-risk customers, which they'll love you for, and it frees up your best people to really dig into the high-risk cases where their expertise is truly needed. It's about being smart, not just being strict.
So here's your game plan. It all starts with technology, automating all that manual work that causes so many headaches. Then you need solid internal governance. That means having a dedicated money laundering reporting officer, or MLRO, and making sure the board is signing off on policies. This all has to be backed by a great culture where every single person knows the role they play. And finally, you embed this whole thing into your day-to-day operations. That way, compliance becomes a smooth part of how you do business, not some clunky thing that gets in the way.
Let's just double-click on this for a second because it is so important. Using technology and RegTech is not a nice-to-have anymore, it's a must. When regulators show up, they expect to see that you're using automation for things like customer due diligence, sanction screening, and monitoring transactions. Those manual spreadsheets, those old clunky systems, they're just not going to cut it. Adopting RegTech is now table stakes for being seen as a credible, compliant business.
So, you know a review is coming eventually. How do you get ready? First, don't wait for them to call. Run your own mock audits. Find your own weak spots before they do. Second, get your paperwork in order. Have your policies, your risk assessments, your training logs all ready to go. Third, if they flag things in the past, be ready to show them exactly what you did about it. And finally, just be open and communicate clearly. It builds trust and makes everything go a whole lot smoother. Now for my favorite part of this whole discussion. Let's completely reframe how we think about this. This isn't just about staying out of trouble. If you do this right, a strong AML program can become a massive competitive advantage for your company.
This slide just lays it all out, the old way versus the new way. The old way was a cost center. It was slow, bogged down by one-size-fits-all rules and endless manual work. The new way is strategic. It uses a smart, risk-based approach and automation to be way more efficient. Think about it. A business that can onboard good clients faster and with less friction because its compliance is smart, that business has a huge leg up on the competition.
And this final quote really brings it all home. How you handle AML is no longer just an internal thing. It's a huge signal you're sending to the market, to your investors, to your banks. It tells them if you're a resilient, trustworthy business that's ready for the future, or if you're one that's stuck in the past.
So we'll leave you with this question. Take a hard look at your own organization. Right now, is your approach to compliance a bottleneck